Parashat Mishpatim, finally, we're getting to the essence of what we understand Torah to be. Lahorot, instructions. Gone are the stories, gone is the slavery, Har Sinai with experience. Now we're getting into 53 mitzvot in one parasha. A little bit overwhelming. But in the details of this week's parasha, we really get a sense of what it means to be Am Yisrael, to build a society based on the values of Torah. So let me share with you an amazing comment from the Seforno on this week's parasha. I'm going to read it from the Pesukim. So the Torah tells us in chapter 22, describing if you lend money to someone, to a poor person, don't act towards them like a creditor, don't charge them interest. And if you take their items as a pledge, you have to return it before the sun sets. It's talking about a person who doesn't have anything to wear. It's the only available clothing, what covers their skin. Therefore, it says Hashem, if your neighbor then cries out to Hashem, I will listen, for I am compassionate. What does this Seforno do with this pasuk? It's really beautiful. V'shamati ki chanun ani. Listening because I am compassionate. Even though the debtor cannot complain to me about you, seeing he owes you repayment, so the poor person can't say, it's not fair, I owe him money. That's just the reality. That's the fact. If he does cry out to Hashem, complaining about his economic situation, which means that pretty much he's got nothing to cover himself because you took the item of clothing as a pledge for the debt, for the loan you gave him, I will give him, and here's the punchline, I will give him part of what I had intended to give to you as recognition of your supplying his needs. So a person does something good. We understand that there's some form of reward, some benefit will come to you. But now what have you done? You've taken this item of clothing, you haven't returned it. And the poor person is cold and he's uncovered, and now he's going to call out to Hashem. If you had been granted, says the Seforno, more financial means than you needed, the only reason was so you could use your excess to assist the needy. Now here I've got a big challenge and a big problem. How do we know what that extra is? And don't people often say, but I need to have, what are our needs? Where do our needs begin to be defined honestly, ethically? And when are we just making it up? Does a person need to have meat and chicken for a Shabbat meal? No. Does a person need to have an expensive bottle of wine? I would argue no. Does a person need to have a flamboyant kiddush for a simcha? Absolutely not. Then we've got all this excess money. Do we need to have so many small little shuls around rather than bringing people together? I know that the community people, there are those who like to have just one type of Jew davening with them, but that's not what Am Yisrael was ever about. So how many electric bills are we paying? How many boxes of tissues need to be supplied? How many duplicate things are we wasting our money rather than saying, hey, the community has funds. Why don't we use them wisely rather than throwing our money away? So within this particular mitzvah, there's a real big challenge, the real personal ethics. How do we ascertain whether when we go shopping, we are supplying our needs with the money we have or wasting our money, and perhaps then as a consequence, falling foul of this particular idea that Hashem's only given those that have in order to help others. What a different world it would be if we really understood our needs and then used that excess, which was never meant for us in the first place, to make so many more people happy and to improve society and our community in general. Shabbat Shalom.